Hey, hey, welcome all to the stream. Los, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain. It's Friday. We got the Lounge of Sound. I'm very much looking forward to it. Listening to some live music. So, you have a good week?
Yeah. I did. Well, actually, a busy week. So, good in that we got a lot done. It was very productive. How about yourself?
Pretty chill. I'm still at home with the kids, so we just getting into a good sleeping habit and focusing on that right now so we don't have sleep deprivation.
Ah, well, that's always a good thing. So, how was the trip and the gig that you had last week? I didn't get to go.
It was great. Yeah, we went up to Kelso, Washington to the Highlander Festival that Kelso puts on every year as a city. So they'll do Celtic games like um, I can't remember the name of it,
Like
but
the
they
strongman type
strongman
thing?
stuff. They throw a
Mm.
log, they throw a rock, and we put on three sets of 45 minutes apiece with Sons of Malarkey. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
Well, there's a couple of people asking where to find us, and so I'm going to answer somebody. So yeah, so we're this is our first honorary episode, right? And we had a fantastic showing for um, our I can't say premiere, our
This is
pilot
called the
episode.
pilot. Yeah, yep.
Pilot. So would today be our premiere?
I'd say so. I'd say this is like the kickoff. We wanted to test it to see how it would be received, and we got a lot of good reception. And Los did some work on promoting it on his sites and the shows he was doing. So we hope to have a good turnout today. And really, we come here to let you listen to some live music, get good vibes, and have good conversation.
It's a lounge, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what are you supposed to do at a lounge? You're supposed to lounge,
Yeah, listen,
lounge about, chill,
chill.
kick back. So yeah, I am very grateful. I know D set. I'm gonna point back here, even though I can see you up there, but I know you're back here. So yeah, I mean, you look like you're prepared to lounge back there, and I hope everybody can. But we got some beautiful text messages, emails. I even got a couple of phone calls. Some of the friends that said that they caught the show, and they even gave me some feedback on the look of the immersive lounge. Hello, Winona. Hello, Angela. Good evening. Woot woot. Yes, indeed. Fortunately, today we can actually see the chat. Hi, Lisa. Hi, and welcome. But anyway, we got some really nice feedback. Excuse the pun.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back, and we're happy to tell you, Cheryl Banks, glad to be back. Looking forward to the show. Absolutely, but we're happy to tell you that we have a wonderful show lined up for you today. Um, so it's a happy time and a sad time for me. So some of the emails asked me who my influences were, and sadly to say, it's a 1 year anniversary since my grandfather died, my Tata. And my Tata was one of my biggest influences. As you all know, my last name is Castro, as we anglicize it. And he would jokingly tell me that we were Cuban. And I didn't realize it because I was very young and, you're at a formidable age. So it wasn't until we went to visit family in Mexico that I found out that, hey, we've been listening to Afro Cuban music all this time, you know? And so I didn't even listen to typical Mexican music, traditional regional music. I grew up in the Central Valley in California. It's all flat, it's all good, it's all produce. Um, Hi, Diana, and hello, Pamela. Um, so little do people know, but I am not Cuban. But even the Cubans have asked me if I'm Cuban because I play a lot of Afro-centric music. And so today, as tribute to my grandfather, who was one of the largest influences for me for music, and to my vast friend community of friends, music loving friends, aficionados that know me for playing blues, soul, R&B, funk. Most of my music is Afrocentric, and that's why today. I have a little special guest star. This is Joy, and this is my little funk guitar. I bring her out whenever I need to play very funk-centric or Afro-centric. And today we're going to be playing some really funky, very grooving, uplifting, because my grandfather would not want me to be crying. He was like, Carlitos, tú dale la vida. You give it to life, you know. You kick it back. And so, Tata, this is for you. And to all my friends out there that I know you guys love Afro-centric music, and people like Bill Grog that love musicology. We'll be talking a lot about musicology. Well, not a lot, just enough to pique your interest and not too much. So getting down to the gist of it, today is not Afrobeats with an S. And why do I have to say that? Because Afrobeats is a new phenomenon globally now, and it stems from West Africa, and more specifically, Nigeria. And it's more techno-based, is what is coming out. The new millennials are really strong with this movement of Afrobeats. Kid Wiz is probably the best known producer. You can Google that on your own time, not our time. Okay, kids? Today is Afrobeat Day. And yes, Diana, it is another day closer. Thank you very much. And that sounds like that needs to be a song. So it might be. I think you just gave me a good idea. That's how my mind. That's how our mind works, right,
Mm-hmm.
D?
Yeah.
D Sat and I, we commune often, and as you can see, those drums that D's got back there, we're really into world rhythms,
Mm-hmm.
and the joy that comes from those world rhythms, and that's her name, Joy. That's how we want to remember our friends and our family,
Mm-hmm.
with joy and jubilation. So before we go into some musicology, D-Set, is there anything we need to do to clean house? A couple reminders?
Not necessarily clean house, but you made me think of a great series that NPR Tiny Desk has been doing, where they're doing Afro beats and showcasing different artists who are playing that music. So recently, within the last 3 or 4 months, there's, I think, 4 or 5 Afro beats focused Tiny Desks that are phenomenal. So if you're not familiar with Tiny Desk, it's a fantastic live musical platform that they do on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And it's a really good showcase of this type of music Los is talking about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, man, I'm ready to listen to some tunes.
Excellent. And then, just as a reminder, everybody, loscastromusic.com, be hanging tight because we will have more Afro-centric music coming your way. Hopefully, sometime soon. D-Set and I, we're working on stuff, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to stop off first as we travel globally around Afro-centric music. We're going to go to Peru. Little do people know that during the diaspora, as slaves were taken out of Africa, the Yoruba language and religion and food and all that, it was moved, through boats. And Peru is one of those spots that I love. And the Afro influence is very strong. As they say, the force is strong in Peru. So we're going to go and listen to Un Mate. Let's see what we can do with Un Mate, Afro-Peruvian. Mate, Afro-Peruvian. So to tie a little bit, Peru is a Latin American country. Ibero-America is all from the Straits of Magellan all the way out here to North America. And any points between, you hear that global influence as Afro beats. And even if you go into Mexico, there were 200,000 slaves that were smuggled into Mexico through Veracruz. And you can actually hear it in the typical Huapango or Huasteco rhythms in Mexico. If you've ever danced Huapango, it has a similar Angolese beat, you know, and they're basically on the upbeat, as opposed to here in America, everything is downbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. As you heard here, there's a typical swing that goes up, right up on the up string. When taking a clinic with Alex Acuna, who is out of Peru, the master told us that that beat in Afro-centric cultures, they simply state it as mother and father, mother, mama, papa, and heaven and earth. The downbeat would be earth, as it's grounded. That's the bombazo, the bomba, or the hit, the golpe. In some places, whether you hit the golpe in conga, and then drums. And if there's any musicians out there, you're crying up to the heavens as you go with the upbeat. So isn't that uplifting and encouraging in itself?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that cool? What's your take on the Afro beats, Dustin? Because I know you're a master. You know all your rhythms, but how's that feel to you?
Oh, I love it. Afrobeat's one of my favorite rhythms because of how polyrhythmic it is. It's very symmetrical, and it just locks you in. And I've described it as like the heartbeat of the player. It's hard to duplicate what people are doing when it comes to the percussion because it's so intrinsically them. It is just something that they feel inside of them and they have to get out. So it feels like you're duplicating someone's own heartbeat and rhythm when you're playing someone else's pattern. Like Tony Allen, one of my favorite drummers, he is the master at this. He's one of the inventors of Afrobeat with Fela Kuti.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorite styles of music, and it's one of those musics that you cannot help but move when you hear it. It pulls you and it pushes you and it forces you to get into the groove, and there's no way around it. You have to be with it.
Good way to say that. That's a really good segue. You're right. It's that pulse, right? It's the rhythm of the world. Our heartbeat is the first instrument that you hear when you are in your mother's womb. You hear that boom, 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 right? And so that is the rhythm of life. I think that's what draws me to Afrocentric music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if it makes any kind of sense. Somebody once told me, you don't have funk. And I was like, I think we all do, right? When you're driving stick shift, you've got a rhythm. And we talked about polyrhythms one time, right? We were saying how the world is polyrhythmic, and Afrocentric music is polyrhythmic. I don't know if I described this last time. Correct me if I'm wrong, D-Set, because I've told you this story a couple of times. How in that drum clinic, they taught us how we're polyrhythmic. Did I tell you about that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so this is a good time to explain. So believe it or not, you out in the audience, you guys are polyrhythmic. So a great master, I believe it was still Alex Acuna and the Master Clinic. We were like 100 drummers. Because I still think of myself as a drummer, even though I play guitar, this is just a vehicle. I play, if I took this thing down, there's some drums back behind me. And I've played cajon, which is an Afro-Peruvian. There's 6 degrees of separation. But he described it like if you go to some third world countries, quotation, air quotes. So the rhythm will be like a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, right? It's basically like a waltz, and you're going 1, 2, 3, right? However, when you're clapping, you're going in 4. So as I go like this, to and fro, you guys can do this while you're in your den or your office. You're counting out 1, 2, 3, and then stop counting, and you'll just feel that pulse, right? And then we start clapping in 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But I'm still moving in that 1, 2, 3 rhythm, right? Now, if you go to Peru, those people, if they sing, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, da 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 da. See, and you just without thinking, you were moving to my rhythms, and we just became polyrhythmic. We did 3 rhythms. We stacked all 3 rhythms, and that's why when we listen to this music, it goes ta ka ta ka ta ka ta 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 ka ta. Am I right, Maria Barbosa da Silva? You're my witness. You showed up in perfect timing because you're in Brazil, if my memory serves correct. I think I've got a decent memory. And in Brazil, you all are polyrhythmic too. When you have the samba and the bossa nova, you are hitting those beautiful, unique polyrhythms, right? One rhythm could be going like this, and then the other one's ta ka ta ka ta ka ta ka ta ka ta ka, like barimbau, right? Maria Barbosa da Silva, hello. And Bona Noite, did I say that right? Yes, she said Bona Noite. Perfect timing in the chat. You guys are wonderful. So do you see what I mean? There's that heartbeat. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ga ta ga ta ga ta da ga ta da da, right? And you have all of these stacked rhythms, and that's why it feels so rich and complex. It's like getting a gumbo, you know, and a lot of this music. In fact, why don't I put my money where my mouth is? This is called Uru featuring Mafiko Solo, and it's a number called Gona, and I'm going to try to play along to the track and see if you feel those rhythms, that bomba, that pulse.
I love that rhythm.
Isn't that is a great rhythm, and that's Kona. That's man. That's again going back to correct me if I'm wrong, folks out of the chat, but I believe that's from Nigeria. Man, what rhythms!
There's so many things to fit inside of it. It even though it could feel busy, but even if it was twice as busy, it would feel the same. I don't know if that comes across in any way, like if that makes sense, but
Say that again.
like the shaker, if you that shaker's just going a million miles a minute.
Right. I got a little sample of what it would look like. Some of it,
Sure.
some of them, the kabasa. Yeah, you're right.
And you can fit everything in there like that and just fill it up, and everyone can kind of fit in that layer. So you could have 20, 30 people playing and it would sound very similar to what that was, because it just fits into this way that all the rhythms kind of have this pull, like a ta, ta, ta. Like that's the base of what that rhythm's doing to you.
Absolutely. I don't know if you guys have
Like
ever
ground
if you
in
go
heaven.
to
Ground in heaven.
yes, the earth and heaven. Absolutely. Hi, Carla. Thank you, big sis. She's out in the audience, and I'm from California, and I've got some friends from California out in the audience, and you guys are beautiful. I think you're beautiful, and I hope that you are enjoying yourselves. We've been talking, if you've just joined the chat or just watching the chat, we've been talking about Afrobeat music, which is just a beautiful, gorgeous jubilation. It's a celebration of life, and it's based on all these rhythms that are not your typical marching rhythms, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, you're gonna feel pulses of 3, of 5, of 7, all of these odd number beats, and so you're not just walking a straight rhythm, you're walking to your own beat. It's like a little battery, right?
When you listen to American music, it's very much like you said, gong, 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 gong. The thing is, with this rhythm, it's doing the same timing. It's going gong, gong, but it does it like a slide motion. It's like a vom, 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 vom. There's like so much movement in between the beat, even though you're still hitting on the same notes. Like Energizer Bunny, Afrobeat, right?
That's
like
a good way to put it. Yeah.
it just
right,
feels different, even though it's essentially the same thing.
You know what you're saying is you're talking about universality. Am I right? Universality. That's the key to life. I mean, out in the audience, we've got people from, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got folks from Brazil, people from Chicago, from California, multi-ethnic crowd that are they're very smart, very well read, and you have broadened your horizons. And people like Clarence Jones is out there, and we're unified by this music, rather than, well, like Pablo Neruda said, "Let nothing unite us that will separate us." So we are bound by this music. See, Clarence is out in Alabama, and he's out in the South, but he feels that rhythm is similar to all of us. At one time, we all heard the same rhythm, the rhythm of my mother's heart, the voice of my mother cooing to me. And those are the sounds that really backing us, right?
Yeah.
Africa is the crib, as they call it, la cuna. We say it in Spanish, the crib or the birthplace of many of our musics. Many of you know that I will be playing at a blues show in November. Blues is Afrocentric. Country comes from Afrocentric music. And before you correct me if I'm wrong, but the kalimba was a precursor to the banjo, and the banjo also stems from Africa. And what do they play? Where do they play banjo? In country music. So guess what? They're playing a very Afrocentric instrument that emulates the sound of the kalimba. You know, that percussive. Right? That sounds very, very banjo-ish. Now, that sounds like high life. If you think about it, that banjo has that sound of high life. 6 degrees of separation, folks. So we're not really separated by much. We could say that there's an ocean that divides us, but distance, it can't separate that la cuna de la vida. That's the crib of life. And let me give an example. I'm going to play a bolero right now, but it's going to be 6 degrees of separation. We're going to get blues and Latin, and we're going to combine them. And tell me if you don't hear just a hint of African, okay? This is called a blues e bolero. And you're going to hear African percussion as well as I'm going to be playing this rhythm, okay? We're going to slow things down because we got a little frenetic. That's okay. That's okay. Yes, Sybil, you're right. Music is universal. Let's hear if we can hear a little bit of the African influence, even though I'm going to be playing a bluesy bolero. And this bluesy bolero, you can say Puerto Rico to Mexico. The bolero is typically an idiom where people were conveying love to each other. But even in that love, you're going to feel that pulse. Listen to this. you guys hear those Latin rhythms, African rhythms, the backbeat?
Well, like for me, the bass was,
Right.
and then if you speed it up,
There it is. There you go. There you go.
yeah, it's
Thank
just
you very much,
it's all right
Teresa,
there.
for that validation. Thank you for saying that. Those are very kind words. And all your words, they encourage us to keep seeking, to deep dive into those bins. You know, if you're privileged enough to ever heard a real vinyl record, when things were more permanent, it was a lathe, and it was physically moving that frequency. You were literally in the groove, right? That term, in the groove, it came from that, from the vinyl. And you feel that the permanence, it's a series of ones and zeros. It's a binary code. And so we're kind of losing that feel. But no matter if you're like Algenia, you're out you hear it in Argentina and Cuba. Very, very, very kind of you to remind me. The global salsa, or that gumbo, as we say it in English. We can feel that. There's a little bit more permanence as we're feeling those rhythms. So I'm very grateful that my foundits are broadening their horizons. They're listening and learning and contributing. You know, it's okay, Cheryl. Yes, your mom says the song was too short, or am I too short? But bum, but bum. Yeah, yeah. I'm a little guy, but we do like our songs, and just for that, we're gonna play a really nice long song when we finish the show. Okay, I promise. And we're going to tie all of this together. Okay, we already talked about Mexico and Cuba and how it was connected by Africa, how Peru was one of those stops for those African slaves, and music has a way of transcending oppression. We talked about slavery, and it is a horrible thing, and yet through that oppression, we were able to endure. A little known fact is in Peru, for example, the slaves were not allowed to communicate with one another. And so they would get these crates because the way, thank you, the song was short. And so am I. That's okay. Short and sweet, like me. So in Peru, they had these crates where they would put the fish and the produce, and they were not allowed to communicate. And the means of communication was the drum. So they flipped the crate over and started playing the drums on those crates, and now we know that as the cajon. And that cajon, back in 1971, 1972, the flamencos, there was a global troupe led by Paco de Lucia, and when they were out there, one of the musicians told Paco, "Hey, Paco, this is an amazing instrument that they've got. Maybe we should incorporate it." So they because the flamencos are very open to everything, they added some guitar strings to get a snap, a sizzle. And so you have a Peruvian cajon, and now you have a flamenco cajon. I have a flamenco cajon that I purchased, and it's over at my dad's place. So whenever I go out there, I get to jam with my dad. My dad is really he's my first found it, and he likes them African rhythms, just like you, D, and he likes hitting that galleta is what we call that golpe, or if you're in Puerto Rico, they call it la bomba or the plena, pow, that bump, right? And so again, Afro influence is very, very strong. So speaking of a very strong African influence, we're going to be playing a fufu jam for you next. Any other thoughts you have, D-Set?
Nope, that's great.
Thanks always, everybody, for joining the chat. Don't forget, you can find us. The show schedule will be posted there on Los Castro Music. Here, if you are kind enough to subscribe, you'll upload. I have it so that you go straight into the live stream, but you can also see it on the website on Los Castro Music. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, say hi. Just join the chat or watch the chat. With that said, let's get cracking. This is the Fufu Jam, and Joy, my little guitar here, she loves the Fufu Jam, and you'll see what I mean by that. And that was a fufu jam out of West Africa,
Mhm.
actually out of Ghana. That's out of Ghana. And I have a buddy, not sure if he's here today, but my buddy Michael Galen, he went and lived in Ghana
Mm.
for a while, and he was playing djembe out there with the tribes and whatnot. And he said it was very humbling. Man, when they lock in those rhythms, whoo! Hey, you've got a djembe, don't you?
I do have a djembe.
Man,
I
that's
love the
crazy.
djembe. It's the reason I picked that as my second piece of percussion is the depth it has. Right, it has a full range. It's that deep low in the middle and a nice high at the end. I don't have another drum I've found that can do what a djembe does, and I got a nice
Right?
big one. So
Yeah.
I love that thing. The kids run up and hit it all the time. They really like it too.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Well, because we are running out of time, we are not going to be able to cover the entire article. But if you would like to look, do some more information. In 2005, there was an article that I really enjoyed out of LA, the LA Times, and it talked about, there was a documentary, it talked about the African um, influence in Mexico. Some people said that they heard the strong African legacy. And so, yeah, check out Los Angeles Times documenting Mexico's strong African legacy. And there was an article by a staff writer named Gail Pollard Terry, who is of descent of Mexican and African descent, and she was able to find that out. And so, if you thought you heard a little bit of the Santana influence, again, we both have similar influences, but it's a little different. And let me explain that. He has more of the salsa, more of the Puerto Rican influence. And if he goes to Brazil, he has more of the samba influence. As opposed to me, I have more of a bossa influence if I go to Brazil. And if I go to my Latin rhythms would be more from Cuba, if you will, and from the Caribbean. And he had more of a mariachi background because his father was he was a mariachi, and my influence is stronger in the flamenco idiom. For example, you'll hear that kind of chord coming out of me, and you'll never hear something like that coming out of Santana. And I also do diminished chords and whatnot. And somebody's asking if I would bring out the blue turquoise guitar. Probably in the next show. Today I'm bringing out joy because we were talking about how slavery was sad, but it was music of jubilation, and that's how they were able to get past their oppression. And thank you very much for saying that you like the performance. I do love Fiamma. That's the blue turquoise guitar, and you'll be seeing plenty of her. But for today, I think it's appropriate that I play Joy because she is the sound of joy and jubilation. Uh, we're trying to keep things light. Excuse me for the bad pun. Because the Afrocentric history is a sad one of oppression, but it's also one of endurance. And that's what we want to key in today, that we take all of those negative influences and we create this gumbo, this beautiful, super delicious rhythm and groove of life. And we're going to tie the whole show together. My musical heritage of Afro-Cuban music, and the fact that I'm Mexican. There is one of my favorite musicians out there. His name is Poncho Sanchez. You can find him out in Newport Beach in California, close to where I come from. And he has a wonderful track called I Showed Them. And somebody in the chat earlier said that the songs were too short. Well, this song is going to give you plenty to chew on. And real quick on the chat, Carla Mejia says in Guerreros, Costa Chica, there's a large community of Afro-Mexicans, and they have beautiful music. Yes. Yes, sister, you are correct. In fact, that LA Times talks about a very large Afro-Mexican community, the mestizos,
And
that are in Mexico.
I posted
Absolutely.
that in the chat as well. So there's a link to that LA Times article Los was talking about
Perfect.
under my name.
Good. Thank you.
Hmm.
And folks, just as a reminder, DSAT back there behind me has a wonderful. Speaking of musicology, your show, you guys like to dig deep. You dive deep into music too, right? On Twitch.
Yeah, we do a Twitch show on Thursday nights called Speakeasy 33. We listen to a live record, we make a drink to go with it, and we just listen to it live with all the here, and we break down track by track. It's a ton of fun, and we always learn a lot, and the audience brings a lot to it as well. So Twitch is a great platform to find live music as well, just like YouTube Live. So yeah, if you want to check us out, it's 7 p.m. on Thursday nights. It's twitch.tv/speakeasy33. That's it.
Perfect. Yeah, please check him out. He's not just a terrific producer, as you can see. I can't really see the whole immersive element of this, but if you guys see this, you know, it all looks like we're in the same room and we are observing COVID protocol. Am I right?
We are.
We
I'm
absolutely
at
are.
my house, he's at his.
Absolutely, but it looks like we're here together. But guess what, guys? We are bound by heart together, and through this music, I have wonderful friends that know their music, like Linda Robertson. Just I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of your work and your musical expertise. Lots of people out there that really know their music, and you're welcome to DM us and give us ideas or give us some feedback on, you know, inform us on your musical heritage, what this means to you. People like Lisa Mitchum is just joining us, and we welcome you. The Foundits, I like to say that we are a small but a mighty little bunch, that we are music aficionados. We march to the beat of our own drum. Can I say that? Can I say that, buddy?
Yeah.
Because you're a drummer. So we want you to join us from here on out. We're going to try to make this show possible as many Fridays as possible to help you get past that week, that tough week. This is music of endurance. We're going to try to keep it light, but we do dive deep. And we will be having shows that will be showcasing Ruby, my flamenca. We'll have some smooth jazz night, some all acoustic night, like you heard today. We're having an Afro-Centric show. One show will be an all blues. We'll have a funk night. You guys tell me what you guys want to hear. And we want to make fans of all of you. And guess what? When you're fans, you're not just fans of me. You're the Foundits. So you're fans of yourselves. And I'm your fan. And Dee said, we're both big fans of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
This beautiful crowd. So
Absolutely.
so much love to all of you. You know, we owe you. Last week, or when we did our first episode, we had some technical difficulties, so we robbed you of 5 minutes. So if you go over some time, that's okay. You guys let us know if you want us to go over a little bit. It's okay. It's your time, your show. The Foundits are my friends, my newfound friends, and somebody emailed me a beautiful email. They said, well, right now when they're called Foundits because they're newfound friends, but we want to become your never lose it's. And I thought, what a beautiful thing. And she also gave me another. She said, I've noticed you have a lot of low-sisms. Can I give you one? And I said, absolutely. That's fine. And she said, for metaphorical, she said musaphorical. She's like, I'm gonna gift you that one, musaphorical. And she thought of it just because she heard our chat. DSAT. She said we use a lot of musical metaphors. So I think we're gonna borrow that one.
I
Can we
like
do
it.
that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
it's
take
great.
a little swig of some coffee, so that this next track is fire. Okay, we're gonna try to make it fire. So if I'm a little chattier than usual, it's because I am chattier than usual. This is Poncho Sanchez. I showed them I do not own the rights to this track, but I want to show you guys wonderful talent coming out of California, a Mexican-American heritage, but he loves Afro-centric music, and I hope you guys love this track the way I do. Let's go. A bailar pa'lante. You guys got to hear that is Dave Samuels on the vibes, Poncho Sanchez and the magnificent Poncho Sanchez band. If you guys want to check out some terrific albums, Concord Picante is the label, and you guys will hear a lot of fire coming out of those guys, and they play those beautiful slow ballads like we played earlier. Again, it's the blues, the African, and the Latin all coming together. So that was a special treat for you all. We were able to tie. I was wondering, am I going to be able to round it out and bring it back together and tie my Mexican heritage with my love for African and Afro-Cuban and Latin music? Well, there you have it. So thank you, my foundits, for coming out here. I hope you are not just my newfound friends, but my never lose it's. I hope you guys all come back and visit my buddy here, D-Set, and myself, Los Castro. Stick around. I think we've got the makings of something really good here. What do you think, buddy?
I do too. And please, if you liked what you heard and saw, give this stream a like. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And right next to the subscription button, there is a bell. Hit that and you'll be notified of whenever new videos and streams come up. Yeah, and tell your friends. Give us a share. That way we can get this around and we can make this more popular and hopefully start doing more of them. That's the goal. Is if we can start doing more, it's all because of you. So thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful evening and a terrific weekend. And please Stay tuned. Don't be strangers. Let us know. Give us some feedback of what you liked or what you did not like. It's okay. We're all growing together, my foundits. And Los Castro, on behalf of me and D Set, good night, guys.
Good night.